you don't subscribe to my son's YouTube channel.
Mama, no!
Just snap the damn ball, RJ.
Ryan Watts, 2020 cornerback recruit. His offer list has exploded since the last time that we spoke. Ryan, how you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Very cool. So, like, last time we talked, you know, you were getting offers from places like Baylor. I think Washington was on the list. Of course, Oklahoma was on the list. Since then, who else has offered you?
Well, I just got a couple more offers. Some from Texas A&M, Notre Dame. What else? Ohio State. Just a lot.
Very cool. Very cool. So, like, what do you think about all this attention now, as opposed to, let's say, during the 2018 season?
It's been a real surprise, and I'm just so happy, so blessed about it. It's just all my work is starting to pay off, and I'm just slowly getting closer and closer to my time being able to be a college athlete. So it's been real cool.
Very cool. Switching gears to OU specifically, you're coming to the spring game, correct?
Oh yeah, I'll be there on April 12th.
Very cool. Is that an official or unofficial for you?
Right now it's an official, but I think I might not take the official there just because I'm trying to save my officials for other colleges far away, because just for financially.
Right. No, that makes sense. For folks that don't know, unofficial visits are entirely on recruits and their parents to basically pick up the tab for gas, for hotel, for that sorts of thing. For the official visits, the universities are allowed to help out a bit financially. So for a guy like Ryan, who's coming from Little Elm, Texas, to take a trip to, let's say, Columbus, Ohio, or South Bend, Indiana, that could be cost prohibitive. Is that pretty much it, Ryan?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Okay, very cool. So, like, where are you thinking that your official visits might take place?
Well, I already have one set for Notre Dame, April 4th. I'll be taking one to Arkansas, one to Cal Berkeley, and one soon to Miami.
Cal, that seemed a little bit, for me at least, a little bit out of left field. What about Cal attracts you there?
Just because it's a smart school and it's the West Coast. I went to the West Coast when I was younger, and I fell in love with it. So I just want to go back there, see what it's like in the university, and see if that's a possibility for me.
So college football fans watch most of the bowl games. Myself, I watch as many as I could, because that's just where I live and breathe. The Cheez-It Bowl has kind of become legendary. Are you familiar with the Cheez-It Bowl and what happened between TCU and Cal last year?
Oh, no, I'm not familiar with that at all.
It was kind of like DB heaven, because I think there was something like 9 interceptions thrown in that game. Matter of fact, let me look this up, because, like, it was really bad quarterback play. But it was no, for real. Like, it was really bad quarterback play.
Well, you gotta get credit a little bit to Cal Berkeley defense, because they run a nice pro style defense, and they actually led the FBS in interceptions last year.
See, and you know that, right? So, like, TCU also runs not necessarily a pro style defense, but it's Gary Patterson, and what they hang their hat on is good defensive play, particularly because they run 5 defensive backs. So
yeah,
talk a little bit more. When I say talk, I hate when people say talk about. What is it about Cal's defense that you think makes that defense so good?
Just because Coach Alexander, he came into Cal about 2 years, and they used to be one of the worst defenses in the FBS, and then he just changed the system so fast. Now they had one of the best defenses in the FBS, and were number 1 in interceptions. So he's really starting to build something real. He's starting to build something down there, and he's starting to recruit some players that are gonna be able to fit the system even better than the players that are already there, and just thrive in a new system. So he'll be able to really prepare me for the NFL, just because that's how most NFLs run their defense too.
So he did some moving and shaking, I think, on the offensive staff because they weren't very good. But let me give you some of these numbers. I just looked up while you were telling us about Cal's defense. The 2 teams combined for 9 interceptions, 5 from Cal, 4 from TCU, and the score of the game was 10-7. Like, bruh, like I remember watching. It's funny because like I'm watching this game going, oh my god, like this is both the best and the worst thing that I've ever seen in my life. Because some of the interceptions were just like, who are you looking at? So like I'm for real. So like if you were in that game, and you weren't in that game, but I'm just have some fun with me. If you were in that game, how many interceptions do you think you would have counted for?
Oh, I would have had most of them. I would have had a lot of them actually. They would have tried to test me, but it wouldn't have worked. I probably would have had at least 3 interceptions, at least. Yeah, that's if they would have thrown at me.
No, because I was like on the flip side. There's a bunch of us grown men, who love college football. We're like, yo, you think TCU would let me play quarterback? You think Cal would let me play quarterback? Because like I can't be any worse. Like
it was bad. And then they changed a lot of QBs that game too. I think TCU. I saw that.
Right. And I think they got at least 2 apiece from the Cal quarterbacks. So it's just like, and how do you transfer out? Like, let's say that you lose your starting job because you threw 3 picks in the game, and the other dude threw 2 picks, and they brought in a true freshman, they're like 4-star recruit. Do you think that he would be transferring out?
He might have to. He might have to market himself out to another college, telling them about how it was just a bad game and it was just something. I don't know.
Man, all right. So getting back to you a little bit, have you heard about the spring game concert at Oklahoma?
No. They didn't tell me what they were having, so I don't really know too much about it.
So the spring game concert is going to go on before the game. So I don't know if you come up there on an official or unofficial, they might have a different itinerary. But as far as I understand it, you're not necessarily going to, be standing there watching the spring game concert. That said, the dude that they brought in is a guy named Lee Brice. Do you know who Lee Brice is?
You actually told me about him earlier, and I didn't know who that was, so I searched him up. Is he a country music singer?
Yeah, that's exactly what he is.
Okay.
How you feel about that?
I mean, not really. It's not my favorite, but I mean, I could listen to it. I know my parents listen to a little bit of country, so they probably like it.
So, in contrast, Florida State is throwing a spring game concert, and theirs is going to be a post-game show. And they are going to have MC Hammer, Tone Loc, and Color Me Bad. Do you know who any of those folks are?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do.
Who do you know of that group?
MC Hammer.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and ask you. Would you rather see MC Hammer or Lee Brice?
Just because of who I am, I'd rather see MC Hammer. And I know my parents would rather see MC Hammer too. Just being honest.
So they had another post-game concert, and I want to say that this one was maybe last year. It was Salt and Pepper, Vanilla Ice, and Rob Bass. Do you know who those folks are?
I heard of it, but I don't know too much about them.
So do you think that last year Oklahoma had Trace Atkins. You know who that is?
No.
So, like, that's kind of my point, right? So I'm asking, like, I don't think a spring game concert is for y'all, and a lot of people who are into OU football and into recruiting as an industry are really worried about how folks like you, specifically, guys that haven't committed, guys that haven't signed, but are also in this year's recruiting cycle. How do you feel about spring game concert? Would you not go to the home game or to the spring game if you knew that Lee Brice was there, or would you be more inclined to go if, say, Drake was there? I'd say Drake. Drake's a little bit too old for you. Kodak Black. How about that?
Yeah.
See right there. See, he said yeah.
Yeah. And for instance, like Texas, they're having on their official weekend. It's going to be jambalaya that weekend, so that's going to be attracting a lot of us recruits there.
Man, see, and I know that is, right, because all right, we won't get into me, but there's a lot of adults that don't even know what you're talking about. They're probably thinking about a dish from Louisiana right now.
Yeah. So,
like, if you told your moms, like, we got to go to Texas because they're going to have jambalaya in concert, what would she say?
I'd probably go with my brother, and then we'd definitely be up there. My mom would probably do something else just because she doesn't listen to that music like that, but she knows I like that music. So she's had to find a way for me to get there because that's something I would really want to do.
Right, and
being able to go to jambalaya.
And I think that's the point that a lot of folks like myself would make is, yo, man, if you're gonna have a spring game concert, maybe have it in such a way that recruits feel like, hey, I gotta go to this, I gotta show up. On the other hand, they're also trying to sell tickets to this thing, and a lot of the people that buy tickets, quite honestly, aren't teenagers like you, and they're really not 31-year-olds like me. They 45, 50, 60 years old, and they want to see, what they want to see, and what they want to see ain't necessarily Kodak Black, or let's say if they pulled out Ariana Grande, there'd be a bunch of us that would go see her, right? But that ain't this club, right? So what would you tell people about what you know about recruiting, what you know about your friends, what you know about other guys that you're going to go to the spring game with, about how the general read from recruits is about the spring game concert?
I know a couple. I can't really say too much, but I know a couple of recruits that they're going to the spring game, but then they found out that they're going to be listening to the country singer, so they were just kind of weird about it.
Right.
And then I talked to other couple people about Texas, and then they're just real excited about just being able to go to jambalaya and having the Texas spring game. So I just say, if just get them to do some exciting things to just draw our attention, shows that we can have a great time down there where the college is located, and that's just a big thing on it, really.
Right. And what do you think that there is? Do you think you would rather have a spring game concert than not have a spring game concert? Like, so if we knew that that's how a lot of recruits felt about Lee Brice, do you think it's a net positive to have the concert, or just say, yo, man, just don't even pretend, just go play football?
For me, for my opinion, I'd say no concert. Not too much shade on what's his name, Lee Brice. Not too much shade on him. He's probably a great country singer, but it's not our genre of music. So I probably would have just rather do something else, just more football, or just do something else that we would probably find interest in. That's how I feel about it.
Right on. Well, switching gears to, you competed at the opening Dallas regional, correct?
Yeah.
So you at the Star in Frisco. It's down there for the opening final. I believe the opening final is going to be there again this year in July, and you got to punch a ticket. How'd you feel about the event? What was your overall takeaway from the feedback you got in your game and the guys that you went up against?
It was real fun. It was probably one of the better events that I went to, rather than the other ones I got actually organized. It was more competition there. They invited a little bit more people, and it was just real fun. We had combine testing, and I really thrived in that right there. I had to prove. Some people really thought I was unathletic because I was 6'3", so I just had to prove to them that I can actually run with some of these people. I got 116 on my Spark score for the opening, which is actually really high. I didn't even know that until after. So it was something real cool.
So, man, I'm gonna keep it real with you and tell you that a lot of people listening right now don't even know what the Sparks score is either. It's kind of esoteric because like Nike came up with that, and everybody else is like, yeah, man, but what's your 40 time? so like, what were your measurables? Do you remember? Do you remember looking at that sheet?
Oh yeah, I think I got the sheet right here. I ran a 4.5 on my 40, a 4.59. My vert was 38. My 3-cone drill was a 4.2, and a power ball, which is you're on your knees, you throw a 6 foot pound ball. I mean a 6 foot pound ball, and I threw it for 40 feet, which is actually really far. Most of all my measurements were 99th or 98th percentile out of the country, so that's real high.
Yeah, man. Did you run the shuttle?
Yeah, the shuttle at 3 cones. They call it different things. That's what I ran in a 4.2 in.
Okay. All right. Cool. I mean, the 3-cone drill and the 20-yard shuttle, and the shuttle drill are actually 2 different drills. So.
Oh, they are?
Yeah. So you probably just ran the 3-cone, which is fine. That tells me a lot. You flying. I mean, it measures out with your 40 time. It really does. Like, the reason I asked you about it was actually because you probably faster with your shuttle drill than DK Metcalf. And I don't know if you heard all the chatter about that dude at the draft, but I think he dropped like 43, and he's enormous.
He did.
But
I've seen that.
His shuttle drill is atrocious. Like, he can't change directions at all.
Really?
Yeah, like his shuttle drill was like 4.5 or something. It's something just stupid slow. And we were like, yo, like, your hips is real tight, huh?
Yeah, but because he looked so strong and he lifts so much, he probably had tight hips and couldn't really move like that. But he's still extremely fast.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, you
fast.
just put him in a system where all he got to do is run go and post routes, and he's all right.
Yeah.
But
it don't really matter for him.
Nah, not at all. Not at all. Well, before I let you go, go ahead and tell me what it is you're thinking you need to see from places like Ohio State, Notre Dame, Cal, Oklahoma before you make a decision.
I just got to see how I'll be used in the defensive system. I want to make sure that where I go, they're not going to just throw me in at safety, because I really prefer to play corner.
Right.
I'm just trying to make sure that they're not trying to have any ideas of me playing safety, and just seeing if their system, if they're really coaching me up, like I have an elite coach there to take me to the next game, so I can go eventually get to the NFL. So I'm just looking for that in these defenses for my position of coaches, especially see if they're building a good relationship, a genuine relationship with them.
Well, then I got to go ahead and ask, have you talked with Coach Manning at Oklahoma and or Coach Grinch at Oklahoma?
Oh, yeah, I talked to Coach Manning, but I usually talk to Coach Gundy and Coach Grinch a lot more.
Okay.
Just because, I don't know, I'm starting to talk to Coach Manning a little bit more, but I think during the spring game, I'm going to be with him a lot, so I'll see then.
Okay. Dude is fiery, and it seems to be the feel for everybody on that staff right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And especially my 7-on-7 coach went to one of their spring practices, and he said he really liked how Coach Grinch was coaching, too. He really liked how Coach Grinch was coaching.
Very cool. Yeah, he gets after him. He gets after him for real. Ryan Watts, 2020 cornerback recruit, offer list exploding. I expect him to move up in the 247 composite rankings. Ryan, thank you so much for the time. I had a very good time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.